insurance startup bags $1.2 billion in Series A drive, and internationally, Elon Musk presents Optimus. This is a humanoid robot. More details in our tech news roundup.
Join me, Stephanie Ayeta and Grace Gedaiga, as we serve you with only the best tech updates the world over.
Take on Tech every Monday at 10:30 p.m. on KBC Channel 1. Stay tuned.
The talented Miss Karun, former member of Camp Mula, aced her set with a fire performance. Time for BN of Sauti Sol came, and from the minute he stepped on stage, the crowd loved on him.
Twende kazi, ama ni aje?
Chiki Kuruka is seen telling a girl off because this girl was just all over BN.
Maisha ya sahaba Abdullah bin Umar radhiallahu anhu, kama tulivyoweza kusikia, ni kuwa yalikuwa ni maisha ya kumpendeza Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Namwomba Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atuwezeshe sisi kuwa wenye kufuata vielelezo vyema katika jamii, na pia mifano mema kama ya Abdullah bin Umar radhiallahu anhu.
It's exactly 1 p.m. East Africa time. Good afternoon. This is the Great KBC and this is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Bentro Njue. Welcome. Susan Thuku will be our sign language interpreter for this live newscast, and we can keep this interactive as we are live on all our social media platforms. We start on a medical note where the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentist Union has issued a 60-day ultimatum for the government to implement the 2017 Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA. Led by their Secretary General, Dr. Davji Atela, the union says they are resuscitating the initial decision to call for industry action due to challenges facing healthcare providers.
Month, we have to go to the streets to get our salaries. I know counties where people are not paid for 2 months, where you have loan deductions on your pay slip and they don't remit to the banks. In CRB, doctors are like the highest number of civil servants. You don't have a medical cover.
In a suicide note he wrote to the sister, Dr. Mogi described his desperations not being able to find employment and the sorrows of watching his poor family struggle months after completing his internship. Daktari represents the hundreds of our bright brothers and sisters who, after toiling for years training to be medics, have found themselves either unemployed or underemployed or working under precarious contracts that don't offer them any protection. Employ doctors, give doctors space to have discussions, remunerate doctors on time, promote doctors, and they need to be promoted just like all workers.
Some of the issues you're not raising here will not be implemented. Will shut down. Exactly. We'd rather stay home with our colleagues than pretend that we are working and we are just watching patients die.
Solidarity forever for the union.
From matters health to matters education, and there are enough slots in public universities for all candidates who scored C+ and above in the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. The assurance from Chief Executive Officer Agnes Wahome of the Kenya Universities and College Central Placement Service is in line with the government line of achieving 100% transition.
The government has assured all the 173,345 candidates who scored grade C+ and above that they will be admitted to public universities. Speaking at Kangaru Boys High School in Embu County during a guidance and mentorship conference, Kenya University's College Central Placement Service CEO asked those who attained the grades to apply.
There is no failure in this country from grade A to the 30,000 who had E's. The government has opportunities for every one of them.
For those who don't wish to join university, there is also a safe haven in technical colleges for diploma courses.
What are their talents and what courses are available, and to especially emphasize the need for them to look at what government priority areas are currently so that they can be able to choose courses that will make a difference in this country.
Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire said her administration was in the process of developing a paid internship program for at least 100 graduates per year.
In every ward, I want to propose that I get proposals of comrades who can sit one per ward, who can sit in the bursary committee. I would be happier if that person has a laptop so that they can also help us in data entry and they can get a small something.
Really encourage us to look at that so that we don't go backward when it comes to our tertiary education, and we ensure that the funding of the university, we actually give it a forward.
This is as majority of public universities are alleged to be struggling financially and in debts which could erode the quality of education being offered. Ruth Wamboy for Lunchtime News.
And away from that, we now cross over to South Sea at the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, KIRDI, where it has launched a biogas laboratory and information for best practice platform. The laboratory will be offering training and also quality control. And we have my colleague Jael on standby.
Good afternoon to you, Troy, back at the studio. I'm here at KIRDI headquarters, and I had a privilege to witness the launch of a biogas project. And maybe to bring more information, or rather to shed more light on what the project is all about, I'll be speaking to the Director General in KIRDI, who will help us, or rather who will shed more light on what the project is all about. So thank you very much, Bonadiji, for accepting to speak with us. Maybe tell us what is the project all about and why are we here today?
The Biogas project is one of the projects which we are undertaking in KIRDI, where we undertake research in industrial and analytic technologies. In this particular project, which was sponsored by the government of Kenya together with the French government and also UNIDO, we are trying to look at how do we manage our waste, especially the solid waste which we produce in the country. So one of the ways of managing the solid waste is to convert it into energy. Now this energy is what is known as methane. Historically, what normally happens, when waste material is decomposed, then you get out of methane. This is what causes actually the greenhouse gases. Now, as a research institution, we are looking at how best can we manage this waste to convert it into energy. So what we are looking at is looking at different kinds of waste and converting it into different kinds of energy. We are also working very closely with other partners, especially the Ministry of Energy and also the Ministry of Environment, to ensure that the research which we do is also taken up by the communities around us. That's what we are doing basically. Now, within this project, we had our officers who are the technical people in the project. There was Joan Khalifa, is the PI of the project, principal investigator, and also Victor Mbithi, who was the co-principal investigator of the project. They'll be able to give us much more information concerning this project. Thank you very much.
And with the DG, Troy, two technical personnel who have been working in this project for months. Maybe they can say one or two things about the project.
Thank you. As you've heard, we've been carrying out this project for quite some time. The project started in 2021, October, and we have come to a conclusion, and also it's still ongoing. So basically, we've been carrying out various services. One, we've been doing laboratory testings for different substrates across the country. We've also been doing biogas plant troubleshootings and also analysis. And also we've been carrying out advisory services to the various biogas owners and also the biogas practitioners. And the last thing we've been doing capacity building and also advisory to different stakeholders within the industry. So basically from that, we've been able to cover a wider niche of our area, and we are able to help those services to our different stakeholders and the country as large. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Joanne. I'm the peer of the project. Basically, this project has been able to achieve two things. One, we've been able to equip this laboratory, that with it we are able to undertake various tests from characterization of the various substrates which can be used for biogas generation. And secondly, we've been able to develop a website that is bringing together stakeholders in the biogas sector. This website basically is meant to be a one-stop shop for all the stakeholders in the biogas sector, from academia, research, policy, and also the financials, the institutions, the financial institutions, the banks, and also the development partners. The project is aimed at creating an environment where biogas can be an option for energy in Kenya, because most people don't know that, and also waste is a resource. So moving forward, we intend to grow the biogas industry through the interactions of various stakeholders.
Thank you so much, Jael, there at the Kenya Institute of Research, Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute there. And they're talking about a biogas laboratory which will increase capacity. They will also be offering training in order to maximize on the biogas in the country in the wake of impending power surge and power tariffs adjustments. Quite a relief. She will be coming a little bit later with a comprehensive report on the same. And from South Sea, we now look at another story touching on the health situation in the country, where the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers have given the Ministry of Health and Council of Governors a 14-day ultimatum within which to resume collective bargaining agreement CBA negotiations. Led by the national chairperson, Peterson Wachira, the clinical officers say failure to honor that and other demands will force them to take to the street in protest. In Nairobi, KUKO officials issued a raft of demands which should be honored within the next 2 weeks, which include that the Ministry of Health post all interns and end discrimination and clarification of the fate of universal health coverage staff. Clinicians also want the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to rescind the decision of the exclusion of benefits payable to clinical officers in the public sector.
And to ensure fairness and equity has turned out to be a propagator of discrimination and disharmony in the public sector. We have seen other interns being posted, and the Minister of Health continued to remain mute without providing a way forward for our interns. And this should be actually addressed as an urgent issue.
After 14 days, if they will not have given us a way forward on the issues that we have raised, we are going to invoke Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya. And we are going to organize our members and to start peaceful demonstration, picketing, and presentation of petitions to those offices.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Some politics now, where the UDA party leadership in Nyanza region has hit out at opposition chief Raila Odinga over his calls to President William Ruto to resign from office. The leaders threatened to rally the region to oppose the countrywide rallies called by Odinga to protest what he calls a stolen victory.
Watu walienda kwa election, ukasema uko na deep state, uko na kila kitu. Now you are telling us to march to State House to remove the elected leaders. We are not interested in that, please. Leave us alone and leave watu wa Nyanza alone, wachague chenye wanataka.
From politics back to education matters, where a group of Kenyan writers has called on the government to give upcoming authors and publishers a chance in partnerships when vetting books for the new curriculum. They said the system should be more open to give space for upcoming writers and publishers to penetrate the market, adding that if not addressed, it might affect the future of writing in the country. The group, led by Andrew Maina of Kedeka Prize for African Literature, say the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development only considers established writers and publishers during the vetting exercise, locking out others. They claimed that such restrictions demotivate upcoming writers, making others quit the profession.
By opening up the market for the upcoming writers, because you find the market has been dominated by the established writers and also by the established publishers. So you find anybody else who is coming out, the name is not known, and his work is new or her work is new, it's hard to penetrate the market. So for instance, the KICD, when they are vetting books or checking out books for the curriculum, the system should be more open, considering in terms of admitting or opening the door for the new works which are coming to the market.
Still on education matters, another secondary school has been rocked by protest after dismal performance in last year's KCSE examination. Masimba High School in Masaba South Sub-County was temporarily closed by irate parents and members of the local community after obtaining a mean score of 2.10. The principal, Joel Nyabuti, who was not in the school, was on the spot as parents accused him of presiding over the declining examination results at the institution. They petitioned the teacher employer to replace the principal and rescue the school from fading into academic oblivion.
Jaribu kuandika hata mabarua kwa Minister of Education, tukapeleka mpaka headquarter, lakini hawatachukua hatua yoyote. Sasa chenye wamefanya ni kutuwekea maaskari kama hapa ni kambi ya jeshi. Hatujui sisi ni kitu gani kimefanyika hapa kwa shule yetu, tunaletea maaskari. Chochote tunasema sasa hivi sisi kile tunataka ifanyike ni huyu principal pasa wa shule, deputy wake pamoja na chairman wa shule waondoke, watupee nafasi tufanye uchaguzi mzuri ili shule yetu iendelee iweze kufanya bidii yake. Kwa hivyo principal aende. Kwa hivyo mimi hatutaki kuharibu shule yetu. Kwa hivyo shule yetu ilikuwa na watoto zaidi ya 1,000 na sasa tuko na watoto 300 peke yake katika shule mzima. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali yetu, waziri wetu wa elimu, hata rais mwenyewe achukue hatua, atupe principal mpya katika hii shule.
Now, from that education note, let's now shift focus to matters climate change. And for that, we cross over to the Wangari Maathai Institute of Peace and Environmental Studies at the University of Nairobi Lower Kabete campus, where today, as you can see, Regina is on standby to give us a feel. There was a ceremony of digital climate information and advisory services training to promote climate adaptation for smallholder agriculture in Eastern Africa. Regina, give us more.
Good afternoon, Ben Troy. We are coming to you live from the Wangari Maathai Institute in Lower Kabete. And rightfully so, we are going to be speaking, or rather for the next 3 days, focus is all about climate change. This particular institution has been rightfully named after environmentalist, the late Professor Wangari Maathai. And today and for the next 3 days going forward, we have delegates drawn from 12 countries here to discuss matters of climate change. In day one of this particular conference, a few things have popped up, with the main agenda coming to the fore as matters of financing. Statistics as compiled by the African Development Bank indicate that Africa only utilizes 11.4 billion shillings when it comes to matters of climate adoption. That is 39% of what it needs, or rather what is committed to Africa. This means that for it to fully meet its climate adoption projects and developments, it requires at least 41.3 billion shillings more to meet its demands, which total around 52.7 billion shillings. Of which national governments only contribute 23%, while the rest of the funding comes from multilaterals. As such, delegates are appealing to their various governments to increase more funding towards climate financing. Another issue that has popped up, Ben Troy and Joy, is the issue of lack of information, especially targeting smallholder farmers, of which the delegates are saying that the use of technology could be applied to bridge this particular information gap, where issues of such as early climate warnings would come in handy. Looking at the country right now, we have 23 counties that are already facing a drought. And imagine if this information in regard to when the rains are expected, or if we are not expecting these rains, would come in due time, it would avert some of the losses that we are experiencing. Now, we're going to be here for the next 3 days, and the outcomes of this particular conference are expected to shape the conversation in regard to matters of policy making, where matters of climate change are to the fore. Also, a revelation from this particular day one of the conference indicated that Kenya is going to be hosting a climate change forum later in the year, where President William Ruto is also going to be sharing that to direct where the country as well as East Africa is going in regard to matters of climate change. Back to you, Broadcasting House.
Thank you so much, Regina. And that, as she has said, the seminar is going to take 3 days. And some startling figures there: 11.4 billion shillings being set aside for climate change mitigation, whereas 41.3 billion more are required for a total of 52 billion shillings. Lack of information, and especially small-scale farmers, coming out prominently in that report. Thank you so much, Ray. Of course, you can catch that report in our subsequent bulletin in a more detailed fashion. Elsewhere, confusion rocked parents of Kwehota Primary School in Ruiru, Kiambu County, as they sought to have their children admitted to junior secondary school. The parents are accusing the school of not being ready to admit learners, saying it lacks the required amenities such as classrooms and toilets.
As parents are rushing to meet school requirements for their children to join junior secondary, some have been left contemplating their next move, as some schools are said to be ill-prepared for admission. At Kwehota Primary School in Ruiru, Kiambu County, parents who turned up for admission said that the school was not well prepared for junior secondary school, citing lack of classrooms and toilets.
Kabiwa kila mzazi anastahili kutoa 10,000. Madarasa ndio tunaona inajengwa, tunaona darasa moja ndio imeongezwa, na hiyo shule tunahitajika na kuwe na lab, tujabiwa mambo ya lab, tujabiwa mambo ya vitu mingi, hakuna shule.
Tumejipata tunanunua uniform wengine, inahitajika kukuwe na TV, inahitajika klasi ingine juu hawatakuwa wanatumia class moja na hao wengine. Hata shule yenyewe haikuwa imejipanga hivi.
Choo zenye ziko hazina milango. Sasa ile changamoto ingine hakuna nini lambu hakuna. Ati ndio na saa hii ile pesa tutatoa hii 10,000 ati ndio sasa inaenda kutengeneza.
Laboratory tunaendelea kutengeneza, lakini tutaweka floor. Wazazi wakikubali na sisi tushirikiane, tuweke floor, tuweke zile vioo mnaona pale.
In Malindi, a number of schools were busy with final touches to the infrastructure to enable students settle. A survey in some private schools indicated that learners had started trickling in, even as teachers and school workers continued sprucing up some of the facilities, among them laboratories.
We are also able to put up the laboratory, and we are grateful that from the beginning we had foreseen this. So we are happy that as from today, our students are coming, they are reporting.
Matayarisho yalikuwa kuna changamoto kidogo, manake kuna wakati ulikuwa unaenda kwa vitabu hupati, uniforms zilikuwa na shida, lakini tunashukuru tumeweza kufanikiwa.
In Chakol, Busia County, parents were sensitized on the requirements for the new mode of education, which will entail sharing facilities such as laboratories with the existing secondary schools as per the government's directive.
Kama shule zingine utapata iko na stream karibu 3-4 mwalimu mmoja. Hakika ni jambo ambalo serikali ni lazima warudi chini tena na wakae ile task force ambayo ilizinduliwa na president iangalie maneno ya CBC.
At Pioneer School Maragua, 60 students reported for junior secondary school. The school will have 2 streams of classes and has established a separate block of classrooms for the learners dubbed Pioneer Junior Secondary School.
The infrastructure is actually ready, as you people can be able to see. And so the few challenges that might be there, we're hoping for us as a school, as they're actually surmountable, we can be able to get over them.
My expectations for the exam is to excel in my studies, and also I joined because the teachers are friendly. You can pursue your dream in the future.
The CBC curriculum has really helped us to know more things about each other and know more about making things. That's way we can make peace in our areas and be safe.
Nesio Kwari, Lunchtime News.
It's a hive of activities in schools as we welcome the Pioneer Junior Secondary School. And one thing I can pick out from those students is their eloquence in how they communicate. CBC doing wonders. Indeed. That's where we take a quick break, but don't go away. On the other side of this break, we have more news. I still have business and also the latest from the world of sports. Don't go away.
Unclaimed financial assets include bank accounts, insurance policies, and other financial assets belonging to people just like you. Don't let your assets remain unclaimed. Take a few minutes to check and see if you have any unclaimed financial assets.
I'd make the impossible possible. And if you were my girl, our love would be so incredible. Girl, but if I were your man, I'd make you
Simply visit www.ufaa.go.ke, dial *361# or visit Huduma Center near you. Labda umeomoka na ujui? The Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967#.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial *811 *967#. *811 *967#.
Cancer is a leading cause of death in Kenya with significant physical, social and economic consequences. The National Cancer Institute of Kenya, together with its stakeholders, will hold the National Cancer Summit from 2nd to 3rd February 2023 at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. The goal of the summit is to take stock of the cancer response in Kenya and to inspire accelerated collective action across all sectors. The event will be live on KBC Channel 1. In addition, the National Cancer Institute invites members of the public for free cancer screening and other government services at Kasarani Primary School from 2nd to 4th February 2023.
This week on Tech, we tell you how legal meets tech.
Our application is called Legal Tech Services. It's a web-based application, and what it does is allow for the exchange of legal services.
In tech news, e-insurance startup bags 1.2 billion in Series A drive, and internationally, Elon Musk presents Optimus. This is a humanoid robot. More details in our tech news roundup.
Join me, Stephanie Ayeta and Grace Gedaiga, as we serve you with only the best tech updates the world over.
Take on Tech every Monday at 10:30 p.m. on KBC Channel 1. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to KBC Lunchtime News. Let's move on. Mandera County, in partnership with the World Food Programme, has launched Early Childhood Development Education ECD School Meals and Learning Resources Program. The meals, worth 79 million shillings, are set to benefit 27,000 learners across 312 ECDE centers in Mandera County. The meals will be delivered on a timely basis.
Mandera County, in partnership with the World Food Programme, has embarked on an ambitious program that involves school feeding program and learning materials to schools across the county. Speaking while launching the initiative, the area governor Mohammed Adan Khalif said his administration is fully prepared to support all schools across Mandera County.
It's expected that the feeding program's introduction will result in a significant increase in the enrollment because of the ongoing drought, which has forced many families to return to their permanent settlement. Therefore, my government will recruit over 400 teachers next month to ensure learners receive a quality education.
I commend the county government for this commitment and to the children of Mandera, and I look forward to continue to working with you to ensure that we grow and scale up this commitment.
The meals, fortified porridge worth 79 million shillings, is set to benefit 27,000 learners across 312 ECDE centers.
To achieve the long-lasting human capital development, we must accompany the investment in meals and resources with a broader package of support, such as deworming, health screenings, vaccination, and wash activities.
We've been able, WFP, through cash transfers, to disperse 600 million Kenyan shillings. This means that that money goes to the most affected in the county and helps to regenerate business.
Wametusaidia tena kwa masomo, alhamdulillah, kwa chakula, kwa chochote tumeridhika, alhamdulillah, shukrani ya Mungu.
The meal will be delivered on a timely basis.
Quite a noble gesture. Moving on, 2 people have been killed following a bandit attack in Pora area in Samburu County. And according to locals, the herders were grazing their livestock when the ambush occurred.
This is the situation in Pora area, Samburu, West Samburu County. Somber mood has engulfed the area following a banditry attack. 2 herders were killed by suspected bandits.
Mimi nasikia nimeumia sana kwa sababu watu wetu wameenda kushika ng'ombe leo hii mchana huko Pora, lakini maadui wamekuja wamefahamia wameua watani wawili hapo. Sasa ndio tumeshikisha moshari.
According to the locals, the 2 were attacked by the bandits while they were grazing their livestock.
Kifo imekuwa ya kila wakati. Tunasikitika na tugeomba serikali wakati huu muingilie kati, tuhakikishe usalama umeimarishwa hapa Samburu.
Tafadhali tunaomba tu serikali tusaidie, ingilie kati mahali pale ili ipate kutulia. Hii watu vile walifanya pale Baragoi waweze kutuliza pia Pora kama vile wametuliza Baragoi. Tafadhali.
Elsewhere, the death toll from clashes pitting armed herders from Isiolo and Samburu counties in Mlango area, Burat ward of Isiolo County, has risen to 3. This follows the death of one of the herders who was caught in the gunfire and has been nursing gunshot wounds at the Isiolo County Referral Hospital for the last 2 days.
Ni ukweli Mungu ametupatia mvua sisi watu wa area county ya Isiolo peke yake. Ni sawa. Na sisi hatujakataa nyinyi mkuje mkule hiyo nyasi, lakini jameni, si kuna utaratibu wa kuja kula nyasi? Si kuna njia ya kuja kuomba?
Ama yetu wacha tutafute kwanza warudi wodi yao. Sisi nayo tukae wodi yetu. Askari wetu katikati yetu. Mali yao ikipotea si turudishe. Yetu ikipotea hawa warudishe.
Following the development, Isiolo County Governor Abdi Ibrahim Guyo has called for immediate eviction of armed herders from the neighboring Samburu County who have pitched camp in Mlango area in search of water and pasture.
Mimi nitapigia pia governor ya wapi? Ya Samburu. Achukue watu yake warudishe wapi? Lakini kama wanaweza kaa na amani mkule nyasi kidogo na njeli natakana, hakuna mtu akona nini? Na shida iko shida kweli. Chama ya kitu kiko shida. Sasa ile wanakaa na amani wanakula nyasi. Hakuna maneno. Hata hatungekuwa wapi. Lakini sasa ile watu wanauliwa. Hiyo inakuwa nini? Shida.
The governor spoke at the volatile Mlango area during a peace meeting held last evening.
Elsewhere, the Kenya National Highways Authority has slapped a 13.9 million shillings fine on a river sand harvester's lorry for violating axle load regulations along Mombasa Road. Senior Superintendent of Police John Geshohi said the truck, which was intercepted by Kenha in collaboration with Highway Unit police officers, was attached to a trailer, thus exceeding the normal weight allowed in law by 24 tons.
According to the country's Traffic Act, Cap 403, the allowable axle weight is governed by the type of vehicles and its axle configuration. A vehicle and semi-trailer with a total of 6 axles, like this one, attracting a maximum gross vehicle weight of 50,000 kilograms, and a vehicle and drawbar trailer with a total of 6 axles, like this one, is set at 52,000 kilograms. However, authorities now say several loaders have been bending the rules.
We are ready to deal with the unscrupulous traders who want to take advantage of their office, because the road is their office. That's what they do not realize. The road is their office. They want to take advantage of that office to misuse it.
This particular lorry, which was intercepted on Thursday night along Mombasa Road, was found to be pulling a trailer weighing 78,740 kilograms or 78 tons.
Huu mtu ambaye anabeba zaidi, nia yake ni nini? Nia yake ni kuharibu barabara, ni kuharibu uchumi, na anataka kuharibu sio uchumi pekee wa Kenya,
ni uchumi wa nchi za Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki.
The transporter now faces a fine of 13.9 million shillings under the East Africa Community Vehicle Load Act of 2016, since Mombasa Road falls within jurisdiction of the law. Going forward, the government says lorries found in violation of axle load regulations will be charged a parking fee of $50 per day, and after 60 days, the case will proceed to court for orders to have the vehicle sold.
One thing we'll want to tell the transporters is that they need to comply with the axle load limits. They should check their loading, because as government we have put in mechanism to ensure that there is total compliance.
The Kenya National Highways Authority has classified Kajiado, Mashuru and Garissa Road among roads at high risk of non-compliance from sand harvester transporters whose lorries are driven at night to avoid government enforcement.
In other news, at least 56 people have lost their lives in road accidents in Nakuru County since December last year. This is according to Nakuru County Police Commander Peter Mwanzo. To curb the cases of road carnage in the region, police and transport stakeholders have partnered to sensitize residents on road safety. Other measures being taken include enforcement of traffic and public transportation guidelines, such as wearing of proper uniforms and badges for matatu and bus crews.
Ya madereva kuendesha magari yakiwa walevi hatutakubali. Na zile sako zitapatikana madereva wao ni walevi, in fact nitaandika barua. Na mimi najua ni vita kubwa sababu mtakubali, lakini mimi hakuna mahali zitaenda. Hiyo sako itakuwa deregistered. Kama hiyo gari itaendeshwa vibaya, dereva ni mlevi, you should give your story, because we all know the dead do not have any story. So before you die, you must give that story. Now you make, and this one I insist. Na chairman, hiyo namba vile itaandikwa na kitu inaitwa indelible ink, ili haiwezi futika, sababu hawa wanaenda kuifuta. Kwa hivyo unaweka ile an indelible ink which cannot be erased.
Wale wanasema hao wataona.
And still on road safety, normal operations in Nyahururu Rumuruti Road came to a standstill after residents of Kauka area, the outskirts of Nyahururu town, demonstrated to protest killings by speeding vehicles. The irate residents said that more than 5 deaths have been reported in a span of 2 weeks. This and more stories in the county's wrap.
The protesting residents accused the authority in the area for failure to act on their numerous complaints about numerous accidents occurring in the area. They now want the county government to take immediate action by putting bumps on the road to discourage speeding on the busy Nyahururu Rumuruti highway.
Kila wakati mtu anagongwa hapa na gari. Anagongwa, tunamzika, maneno inapotelea hivyo. Kilio yetu hakuna mtu anasikiliza. Kila siku tunagongwa na gari hapa. Serikali ingilie kati.
Meanwhile, traders at Maringo Shopping Center in Nairobi are counting losses after property of unknown value was destroyed by a dawn fire incident that gutted down their premises.
Angalia, ilikuwa ni moto ya kurushwa. Sana tunaiona ikiwa petrol, hizi wanaziita petrol bomb. Kwa sababu ilikuwa moto kubwa sana. Hata venye gari ya kuzima moto iliweza kukuja haraka, lakini haingeweza kusimamisha huo moto.
Elsewhere, IGAD officials have urged its member states to coordinate and fight emerging crimes caused by emerging transnational threats in the region.
Transnational crimes, especially in area of technological crimes, the trend is increasing. These are the areas we have not yet defeated, and we cannot say we have controlled these things. These are challenges that still we are fighting with.
Finally, Migori County government has rolled out a bursary program worth 120 million shillings to cushion bright out needed learners across the country. About 20,000 secondary schools will benefit from the bursary.
Across the border, section of members of the South Sudan United Front has announced a hostile takeover of the movement and the ouster of General Paul Malong Awan. Speaking in Nairobi, the group led by Deputy Chief of General Staff for Administration, Major General Dixon Gatluk Nyuot. The group accused Malong of running the movement single-handedly with limited capacity owing to sanctions imposed on him by the West. Nyuot argues that the movement is charting a new way forward and is keen on building a united South Sudan alongside the revitalized transitional government of national unity under the leadership of President Salva Kiir.
And careful consideration with the undersigned leaders and members of South Sudan United Front, Stock Army, SAF, recognize that there is no military solution to the crisis in South Sudan, and that is a sustainable peace can be achieved only through inclusive and political dialogue. We understand the need to take bold decisions in the interest of national reconciliation that can guide the country to a new political dispensation and permanent constitutional order. From the onset of joining the SAF, we expected the movement to wage a total war or a total peace with the regime in Juba, but this has not been the case. Comrade General Paul Malong Awan has failed to reorganize the movement, and the members feel frustrated due to lack of progress. He is running the movement single-handed with limited capacity. Thank you very much.
Sense of shillings and cents in business at the Capital Market Authority has licensed 4 coffee brokers, bringing to 10 the total number of authorized coffee brokers. This is part of efforts by the regulator to deepen coffee trading and enhance transparency to the benefit of farmers.
The licensing of coffee brokers by the Capital Markets Authority is being done under the Capital Markets Coffee Exchange Regulations of 2020. So far, the Capital Markets Authority has licensed 6 coffee brokers. They are United Eastern Kenya Coffee Marketing Company, Meru County Coffee Marketing Agency Limited, Kipkelion Brokerage Company Limited, Mount Elgon Coffee Marketing Agency, Murang'a County Coffee Dealers Limited, and Embu Coffee Farmers Marketing Agency Limited. And today, the market regulator announced that it has licensed 4 more coffee brokers. It says Kenya Coffee Marketing Agency has been granted full licensing operations, while Kiambu Coffee Marketing Company Limited, Bungoma Union Marketing Agency Limited, and Meru South Coffee Marketing Company Limited have been granted in-principle approvals for 6 months. The Capital Markets Authority has directed the Nairobi Coffee Exchange to immediately admit the new brokers to the trading floor. The authority further says it has extended the approval granted to the Nairobi Coffee Exchange to continue operating as a coffee exchange for 4 months until end of April this year, to give room for transition and progression towards full compliance with the new coffee exchange regulations. The Capital Markets Authority Chief Executive Officer Wycliffe Shamia says today's announcements are meant to ensure that the momentum of the reform agenda needs to be sustained to ensure full implementation of the coffee exchange regulations. Ndotamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
Now, the government is inviting investors to lease 4,000 acres in special economic zones with priority given to local investors. The Ministry of Trade has so far opened up 3,000 acres in Dongo Kudu and 1,000 acres in the Naivasha Special Economic Zone in a bid to boost exports by 20% in the next 2 years.
Exports currently account for 10% of the gross domestic product, while manufacturing makes up for only 7%. The Ministry of Trade plans to boost these numbers to 30% and 20% by 2025 and 2030 respectively. The Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry has narrowed down on various strategic sectors in the 2 special economic zones for investors, with plans underway to kick off the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone by July this year. The leasing openings announced will focus on agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, the textile industry, green energy and steel, among many others. This comes as the Trade Cabinet Secretary, Moses Kuria, has expressed the need to revitalize authorities that are responsible for oversighting export trade, with shake-ups expected at the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
And the government is urging farmers in Tana River County to bring their produce to the multi-million Galole Integrated Fruit Processing Factory. The factory was set up by the Coast Development Authority in 2014 but has not been fully utilized.
The Coast Development Authority set up the Galole Integrated Fruit Processing Factory that adds value to, among other fruits, mangoes, in a move that was geared towards creating employment, higher income and general revenue for Tana River County. The factory was set up in 2014. Local farmers are yet to embrace the factory to full capacity. The government is urging the locals to sell their mangoes to the factory for processing.
Mimi nina hakika maembe yote ya Tana River yangekuwa niletwa hapa. Mtambo hata mitambo 10 kama ikijengwa haitoshi. Kwa hivyo nyinyi mkitaka mutambulike na serikali, maembe yenu yaleteni hapa, maana hichi ni kiwanda ambacho kinatambulika na serikali. Ili na nyinyi kesho mkija kudai ile haki yenu, ile share yenu.
The factory has been sourcing fruits from neighboring counties of Lamu, Kilifi, Kwale and Garissa. He further urged farmers to sell to the processing plant instead of to brokers who have infiltrated the market, offering instant cash and exploiting them.
We really have to sensitize the farmers so that we can make this factory work. This factory is supposed to serve the mango farmers in the 4 counties of Kenya: Garissa, Tana River, Lamu and Kilifi. Therefore, we expect the farmers to bring their produce here so that we can caution them against any post-harvest loss.
Masai wamezoeshwa na wale wachuzi wa nje ya kwamba akija ananunua na cash, anachukua cash, achukue embe. So hii imeleta tatizo kwetu sisi na CDA, lakini kuna some areas wameanza kidogo kurekebisha, mipango kidogo inaenda vizuri.
The 100 million shillings facility has been expanded to start processing pineapples, passion fruits and bottled water to tap its capacity. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, high cost and the prospect of shrinking earnings have made big miners nervous about expansion, even as shareholders demand investment in response to robust commodity prices, China's reopening and the role of minerals in decarbonizing South Africa's economy. Here are the details of this and more from our Africa Continent Wrap.
Although years of cost discipline have repaired balance sheets from past overspending, full-year results announcement in February are expected to show a fall in miners' earning. In addition, shareholder payouts are projected to reduce from the record levels reported in 2022 after disruption lowered output and cost rose for energy, explosives and equipment. Disruptions at copper mines caused by extreme weather and labor issues are predicted to worsen, likely affecting a record 1.6 million tons of production this year. Goldman Sachs analysts say there is a headache for companies hunting for minerals to power the green energy boom as their deposits get depleted. Capital spending by mining companies is projected to decrease 11% in 2023, with exploration spending likely to fall by up to 20%. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund and Cameroon have reached an agreement that will give the countries access to around $74.6 million.
The Central African country's economy grew at an estimated 3.4% in 2022. That is up from 3.6% in 2021. It is projected to reach 4.3% growth this year. Headline inflation is expected to reach 6% at the end of 2022. That's mainly driven by food prices due to higher import costs and domestic supply pressures. Finally, traders in Nigeria are calling on the country's central bank and the federal government to increase availability of Nigeria's new notes to mitigate hardship. Nigeria introduced new currency notes last year. The deadline for the circulation of the old 1,000, 500 and 200 naira notes has been extended to 10th of next month, but bank customers continue to face frustrations. ATMs have been largely empty across the country. This as traders in many markets at the nation's commercial capital of Lagos have refused to accept old naira notes from customers. They fear of recording losses in their operations. Terry Njenga, Lunchtime News.
Basketball charity giants of Africa has announced their plan to celebrate their 20th anniversary in culture and entertainment in August of 2023.
Co-founded in 2003 by Toronto Raptors president Masai Ujiri, Giants of Africa use basketball as a means of educating and improving the lives of African children by investing in basketball facilities, training camps and clinics. They have a presence in 17 countries including Kenya, where courts in Dagoretti High School and Kayoles Diwopa have been built and rehabilitated. This year they will celebrate 20 years of existence by inviting 250 youth to Rwanda for the inaugural Giants of Africa Festival. The event will have basketball clinics and tournaments plus education on leadership, female empowerment, turning ideas into action, professional development, and investing in yourself and your community. The festival will take place from 13th to 19th of August.
And let's wrap it up with Chan Championship, where host Algeria will face Niger this evening. I beg your pardon. The African Nations Championships enter its semi-final stage in Algiers. Senegal will play Madagascar in the second semi-final match. Elsewhere in England, West Ham will face Manchester United in the 5th round of the FA Cup after beating Derby 2-0 last evening.
Belghiter, a shot at goal has to come. Eventually a driving shot that Folly is able to scoop away.
Algeria will be aiming to reach the final of the African Nation Championships for the first time when they face Niger tonight in the first semi-finals of this year's edition. In the other semi-final match, Senegal will play Madagascar. The winners of each match will face each other in the final, set to be held on the 4th of February, while the losers will meet in the third playoff match on the 3rd of February. In England, Jared Bowen and Michael Antonio were on target as West Ham beat Derby 2-0 in the 4th round of the FA Cup at the Pride Park Stadium.
Forsyth, I actually think Forsyth does well. Helped on by Antonio, Bowen leaves it, Socek, Bowen, 1-0. Quick glance over the shoulder. He had a sighter a moment ago. Fornals, that was a good idea. It's worked anyway. This is Bowen. Antonio's in the middle. Antonio scored. Little deflection on the cross.
In the Carabao Cup, Newcastle United will be aiming to reach their first major cup final since 1999 if they avoid defeat against Southampton in tonight's second leg match at the St James's Park Stadium.
Player Isak takes it, turns, breaks into the area away from Chaleta Sarr and rolled across and turned in. And this time it's into the net from Joe Linton.
The time we had for KBC Lunchtime News this Tuesday afternoon. Susan Thuku has been our sign language interpreter. My name is Bentro Njue. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget, for this and more news, www.kbc.co.ke, and we also have more news in our social media platform. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
For you, Nanny. For me? Oh, wow. Oh, son! What about Rodrigo? Rodrigo, I'm going to get him out of my head.
I came here to officially ask your father and his wife for Karina's hand.
Oligario.
Mrs. Ricarda, it's been so long.
What are you doing? What the heck is the matter with you, Sergio? My goodness. I have been very clear with you from the start. You're not supposed to touch me in any way.
Been waiting for 6 hours.
So unajua lazima ungepitia kwa ofisi.
Kwa nini hukuniambia uliuza gari yako?
Gari yangu iko kwa mechanic. Zelani?
Lulu aliona kwa ghetto na mtu mwingine.
Well, Melissa, unaweza tueleza jana usiku around saa 4 hivi ulikuwa wapi?
Kwa babangu, why?
Tunachunguza mauaji.
Melissa, what has she gone and gotten herself into this time? As if we don't have enough trouble as it is.
You guys are here wasting your time when you should be out there finding the people responsible.
Cheki Buddha, sujibonge, nisaidie nisaidie.
Happy New Year. It's that time of the year when we're coming up with New Year resolutions, whether it's a resolution on your health, your finances, learning a new skill, a new language. But for some of us, it's also that time when we remember about last year's resolutions that we couldn't stick to. Now, today we have a man who turns around